Hi guys! So I am here to do my 32-week bump date. Also, I'll be covering last week as well because I didn't get a bump date up last week. So 31 and 32-week bump date today. So we are in the 30s and moving right along. Okay, so this week, baby is the size of an armadillo. The vegetable or fruit that it's the same size of this week is like a Florida pomelo or something weird like that. I don't know what that is. So I feel like most people know how big an armadillo is. So baby's the size of an armadillo, and that is about 18 inches and 4 pounds. So baby's definitely getting big in there. Some of my symptoms this week, they're pretty similar to the last couple weeks, but there's a couple new things too. But I think my biggest one is obviously still exhaustion. I'm so tired and I'm feeling a lot less motivated to do things, especially when, well, some things. Especially when the kids go to bed, I really just want to sit because my body is so tired. But I'm really trying to push myself to work out still when I can and get stuff done and stuff like that. But the motivation is down and energy is definitely down. I still can't catch my breath and I don't really plan on being able to catch it until this baby's born. Another thing that is very noticeable this week is the pregnancy waddle. It's coming out hardcore and I'm just waddling all over the place. And I feel like a lot of it's because baby seems very low to me. And so I feel a little bit more pressure in my pelvis and I'm just obviously very front heavy and everything else. And so yes, waddling is a thing these days and I'm just trying to rock it to the best of my ability. This week and a little bit last week, I've had random episodes of having pretty bad sciatic pain. And one day I was at work and I had to walk around and do a bunch of stuff and I was limping. Every time I took a step, it was like a shock of pain down my lower back and my butt cheek and down my leg, and it does not feel good at all. But doing some of the workouts I've been doing, because a lot of them start with some really good stretches and stuff, some prenatal workouts that I've just found on YouTube, and a lot of them do some really good stretches that helps your back and your legs and all that stuff, and I feel like that has really helped alleviate some of that sciatic pain that I've been experiencing. Another thing the past couple weeks still is that I just am moody. I am moody and grumpy, I feel like, and I just don't have the patience that I normally do. Not that I really consider myself a super patient person on a normal day, but I just don't have the patience right now to deal with like anything, I feel like. So I've been trying to really work on it, especially with the kids, because they're kids and I don't want to get, you know, they do things that they're not supposed to do, and I'm trying to be as patient as I can, but I've noticed that my patience is wearing thin these days. Another thing I've been experiencing is a really stuffy nose, and I don't know if that's pregnancy related or maybe I've just kind of had a little something going on the past week or so. It's been about 2 weeks now though. I just feel really stuffed up, especially at night. And so yeah, I don't necessarily know if that's pregnancy related, but it might be. So guys, my dry skin is actually getting a lot better, and I don't know if it's because I've been on it with hydrating my skin at least at night before I go to bed, but usually in the morning as well. Between the coconut oil and cocoa butter lotion stuff, I haven't had my skin breaking out under my rings like I have been. My face actually seems to be clearing up a little bit too, so I'm pretty excited about all that. The past 2 weeks, which I think I did say this in my last bump date as well, but the insomnia has been crazy. It takes me a little bit to go to bed at night, and then I am always waking up around 2 a.m. and 4 a.m. and I'm just up for like a really long time. Usually not as much at 2 a.m., but around 4 a.m. I'll be up for like an hour or two and then go back to sleep a little bit till the kids wake up. So yeah, I've just been waking up for really long periods of time in the middle of the night, and that's making me really tired. But you know, like I've said before, it's just getting me ready to not sleep, and so I guess that's a good thing. Another thing, especially the past week, is nesting. Like I said, I really don't have a lot of energy or motivation, but every once in a while I'm just like, I need to clean everything, or like I need to organize this whole room, or I need to do this. And it's been awesome because when I do get that nesting urge, I just go all in and do everything I can when I can, because yeah, because it's about the only time I'm getting stuff done. Another thing this week is my appetite, I feel like, has exploded. I am so hungry all the time. Like, if I did not control myself, I would be eating all day long. And it's all pretty much junk that I want, unfortunately. My biggest cravings this week is Chick-fil-A and brownies. I want both, and I would eat both every day. And we have definitely had Chick-fil-A twice this week, and it's been amazing. But along the lines of appetite, it's funny because I am so hungry, but my stomach can't hold nearly as much as normal because it's getting so tight in there. And so that's probably why I'm also hungry so frequently, because I'm not eating as much every time I eat, just because I don't have the room for it. So, you know, I make this plate of food that I would normally eat, and I'm like 5 bites and I'm like, man, so full. But I'm really not, but I am, I don't know. But then I'm hungry in like 30 minutes. So smaller, more frequent meals is kind of what's happening lately. That's pretty much it as far as symptoms go. I also have had, I guess I've had an increase in Braxton Hicks the past week or so. Nothing crazy, nothing consistent, but there's just been noticeably more of them. But yeah, that's it as far as symptoms. But I had a doctor's appointment yesterday and everything went really well. You know, baby sounded good and all that kind of stuff. But I asked my doctor his thoughts on a VBAC. And I know if you guys have followed me through my pregnancies, I'll just do a quick recap of basically what's happened. So with Jonathan, we did a C-section because I've had both my hips replaced. And at the time, because this is like 4 years ago now, 5 years ago, basically when I found out I was pregnant and stuff, when we started talking about it, there really wasn't a lot of good information out there on whether having a baby vaginally could dislocate hip replacements. But between Jonathan and Ellie, there was a lot of studies done actually that showed that there was really no connection between having a baby vaginally and dislocating hips, unless somebody were to be holding like my leg up and twisting it beyond my range of motion. That could dislocate my hip, but not the actual birthing process, if that makes sense. So I really wanted to try for a VBAC with Ellie, but my doctor in Savannah was like, yeah, I don't do them. Basically, absolutely not. And I loved my doctor, and by the time I talked to him about it, I was like really far along in my pregnancy. And so, you know, I wasn't going to change doctors at that point. I just accepted it. And I knew that people could have a vaginal delivery after 2 C-sections, but I didn't really think that was like a thing. I mean, like, it happens sometimes, but not like a big thing. And it was funny because I was on Facebook and a local page, and somebody was asking if any doctors did a VBAC after 2 cesareans, and somebody was like, yeah, and they named my doctor. And I'm like, that's interesting. So I just wanted to talk to him about it and see his thoughts. It's been on my heart to want to try a vaginal birth because I've never had a chance. I never went into labor with Jonathan or with Ellie. I just went in for a scheduled C-section. And my recovery from the C-section with Ellie was rough. And I don't know if I really verbalized that or really talked about it too much on here because I was so busy with a toddler and a baby. But I had troubles afterwards, and I was miserable in the hospital, and then I ended up getting cellulitis over my incision area, and that was miserable. And I really was in pain for like 3 months after this last C-section, which I know is not a normal experience, so I don't want to freak anybody out who's gonna have a C-section or anything like that, but it was just a horrible experience. And like I said, I already kind of wanted to have a VBAC. So anyway, my doctor, he said that he would be open to the idea of it, but he also, you know, wanted to be very clear on what the complications could be, which obviously the number one thing with VBAC is uterine rupture, and that is a very serious thing if that does happen, although it's very unlikely to happen, but it can happen. You know, he said 1 in 200 people can experience a uterine rupture. And of those 1 in 200 people, I think it's 10% of those babies could either be seriously injured or die. Okay, so that's, even though it's a very small percentage, you know, it's scary to hear, but of course having a third C-section or even a regular vaginal birth, there are risks involved. And the more C-sections you have, the more risks are involved with that. So this would be my third if I had one. But it seems like to me from everything that I have read, because I have read probably every study at this point, when it comes to VBACs, because I wanted to know all the facts. I didn't want to know the scare tactics. I didn't want to know the hippy dippy stories of all these people that are like, I had mine and everything was fine. I wanted to know facts. And so I've gone to the medical databases. I have obviously talked to my doctor, but I'm really torn because it seems like trying for a VBAC is more risky to the baby, whereas having a repeat C-section is more risky to the mom. So I feel like me wanting to do this is selfish. And maybe it is. I mean, that's kind of how I feel about it, so maybe there's reason for that. But I don't know. I really don't know if I want to attempt it or not at this point. I've talked to James about it and he's supportive of me either way, which is great, even though I kind of want a little bit more input from him. But I guess I'm asking this community, I already know the facts. Okay, so I want to know personal stories if you have had a VBAC, especially if you've had a VBAC after 2C, or if you are a labor and delivery nurse and you have insight in that regard, or anything like that. I just want to hear, because now I know the facts, but I would like to hear from people who have experienced this. And yes, I have seen the video on YouTube about the girl who had the VBAC after 2 C-sections. It was terrifying and everything exploded in there and they almost both died. I have seen that, okay? So yeah, so don't worry, you don't have to link that. I got it. I've seen that and it was terrifying. But yeah, so just some input, because I want to get all the knowledge that I can on this and make the best decision for my family. But anyway, that was a really, really long discussion on that. But that was kind of, it's what's been on my mind the past couple weeks. And since, you know, I talked about it with my doctor yesterday, it's very fresh. So yeah, I kind of want to come up with a game plan either way and just hear from you guys. So anyways, that's pretty much all I have today, guys, but I hope you are having a wonderful day today and a great Valentine's Day. But I will go ahead and show you my 32-week belly. Alright guys, well that is it for my 32-week bump and bump date. I hope you guys are having a great day and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys.